Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Gather round, children. It's time for a Moon Lambo story time about Ripple. Did you know that XRP was not always known as XRP? Well, you're going to learn the specifics and more. It's this particular video, it's all about Ripple across time. Thanks to this piece from Leonidas, who runs XRParcade.com, and he created this Ripple timeline. And so I read most of it, but I thought it would be really fun to have a video where we just kind of run through this and talk about some of the stuff that's going on here. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and bitch about something. I went to record this video. This is like Festivus, by the way. This is my airing of grievances. If you don't know what Festivus is, just go ahead and Google it. The Webernets knows everything. I went to record my video, or I was going to, but part of my routine before I record videos is I always restart the computer just to be extra safe. I want to make sure there's nothing weird going to happen with system memory errors or who knows what. And and so I do that just so it's a fresh start. And then I go ahead and I do my audio check. I plug in my microphone, make sure that it's recording properly, which has saved me actually from recording with it not with the microphone not actually picking stuff up properly. So that's been good. My routine's solid. But I went to restart my computer today, and there was a requirement to restart the computer. I had to update Windows. Windows requires you to do it, and they don't care. They don't care, these little rat bastards. They don't care if you've got something to do. They don't care about your timeline. If you want to restart your computer to make sure that it's functioning properly, which sometimes you really need to do. Sometimes it just needs a restart. No. We don't respect your time. You have to do the update right now. Now, most of them are pretty quick. Sometimes I've had updates that take over a half hour, though. And I'm like, damn it, Bill Gates, what the hell are you doing? You're really grinding my gears here. I'm trying to record a Moon Lambo video for the peoples out there, and you stepping on my trip, bro. Come on, Bill Gates, what are you doing here? And so I just decided that I was going to start this video by bitching about that. I know that some of you out there are like, yes, exactly, I hate that. This happens to me too. It's irritating to no end. I'm just saying. But anyway, we got it. I got it. It got even worse, actually, in this case. You know what popped up the first time I logged into my computer upon the update? I got this screen. It was just this gray screen saying, welcome to Microsoft Edge. It's their new version of their browser, I guess. And there's this little accept here to proceed. There wasn't a no. You can see this tiny X in the top right corner, and if you wanted to X out. But most people wouldn't see that. It took up the whole screen, and most people are just going to accept that. I didn't. I was like, I don't want this stupid Microsoft browser. I'm getting the hell out of here. So I went ahead and X'd out. And then I found out they put the damn thing in my little bar at the bottom. What do you call it? The taskbar. They put the damn icon upon update in the taskbar. Bill Gates, you can suck it. I'm just saying, man. All right. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap the like button. And also, if you would please, if you appreciate a good rant about Microsoft and Bill Gates, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. Okay. Anyway, shout out to Leonidas. By the way, thank you for humoring me. I had to vent a little bit before I got into this. If I'm going to be in the right Moon Lambo mindset to talk about Ripple and XRP, I'm sorry. I don't usually do that, but thank you for humoring me. So shout out to Leonidas. He tagged me along with a number of other individuals upon releasing this piece that he came up with on Ripple Timeline. We're going to go straight to the bottom here. It's story time, boys and girls. Gather around the fire. So in 2004, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with this part. And I'm not going to literally read all of this. I think it might take long, but there are certain ones, little pieces on the timeline that stood out to me. But in 2004, Ripple Pay. Ripple was first idealized in 2004 by Ryan Fugger. I think that's how it's pronounced. I've heard it pronounced Fugger and Fugger. I think it's Fugger, even though that's not what it looks like. But anyway, he developed the first prototype of Ripple as a decentralized digital monetary system, Ripple Pay. Now, of course, that's before cryptocurrencies and blockchain existed. I know it was a little 5 years or so, roughly, before that. Nonetheless, the concept there ended up kind of getting new life later on. So you can see here in October 14th, 2011, XRP Ledger first commit. Jed McCaleb pushed the first commit for the XRP validator. Jed McCaleb, David Schwartz, and Arthur Brito created the XRP Ledger. So basically, three of the most genius people on the entire planet created this damn thing. And it was the brainchild, by the way, of Jed McCaleb. He's the one that initially came up with this. So say what you will about the guy, and some people are... I wish him nothing but the best. Look, he created the XRP ledger. Some people aren't so thrilled based on the falling out and some of the other stuff that he said. I'm like, whatever, man. We got XRP. It's cool. So I'm appreciative of the fact that he came up with this. And then brought on board David Schwartz. And I don't remember the story. Actually, I don't know if I've ever heard the story about how Arthur Brito got involved. Maybe I just don't recall it off the top of my head there. But that's how things actually got rolling here. They were just trying to build a better version of Bitcoin. Now, here on June 2nd of 2012, this is where things really start to get going here. XRP was created. Arthur Brito, and there's no pictures of him on the Webernets. Good luck. You're not going to find it. Arthur Brito, he's a very private person. But anyway, Arthur Brito created the 100 billion XRP, which was then called XNS. Yes, indeed. It was not originally XRP. It was XNS. And I was aware of this, and I had mentioned it on the channel once or twice, I know. I can't remember the details. I don't know that there was ever a specific story laid out by any of them. Maybe there was. There's not a lot of information on this. You can try Google searching it. You might be able to find some stuff. But I do remember that it was changed. And the RP, my understanding is that it's, not surprisingly, it stands for, and then the RP and XRP, it stands for Ripple. And so, given that they were talking, even though, by the way, Ripple wasn't called Ripple when the company was started. We'll get to that in just a second here. But it was still this whole history going back to what I just cited here in 2004 with Ripple Pay, and so they're calling this cryptocurrency. Apparently, they were calling it Ripple back then. They were calling it was XRP and Ripple. It was very confusing. Obviously, there's a distinction now. It is not the same thing, and I'm glad that there's clarity now. I kind of wish that maybe at the beginning, in hindsight, you could see, okay, it wasn't the best thing to use Ripple and XRP interchangeably, but they were nonetheless here. But so I don't know what the NS stands for, and XNS. That would be interesting to learn here. And then you got September 2012, Chris Larson and Jed McCaleb co-founded the corporation OpenCoin. OpenCoin began development of the Ripple protocol, which is RTXP, and the Ripple Payment and Exchange Network. And then XRP Ledger goes live. The XRP Ledger began transacting in December of 2012. Now, that's true, and those transactions were going. It may have still technically been in beta. I don't believe that it was ever really open to the public, I'm pretty sure, until the very beginning of January 2013. I mean, maybe it could have been like the last few days of December. I'm pulling from memory here, but the transactions prior to that, it was all in beta. And so nobody had access to it to that point here. And then OpenCoin acquired Simple Honey, and I was actually not aware of this. On April 3rd, 2013, they acquired Simple Honey to help it popularize virtual currencies and make them easier for average users. And then they had this angel funding round. This is where people are like, people with the deep pockets are like, maybe there's something to this. Angel funding round on April 11th, 2013. OpenCoin announced it had closed an angel round of funding with several venture capital firms. And then on May 14th, same year, OpenCoin announced that it had closed a second round of angel funding. And Jed McCaleb wasn't around for around OpenCoin for very long. Check this out. Is 2013, Jed McCaleb leaves Ripple. After a falling out, Jed McCaleb left Ripple in 2013. And it was in September of 2013 that Ripple Labs Inc. OpenCoin officially changed its name to Ripple Labs Inc. So that's the latter half of 2013 there. Then there was another seed round in November 12th of that year. So lots of money coming in. So it was pretty clear to some people from the very beginning, hey, there might be something to conceptually what was there. And they still had to build out the general plan and how was XRP actually going to be used? Because, obviously a lot of the initial planning around how was XRP going to be adopted, it was the first approach was basically to force banks and remittance companies to use it. And that didn't really go over so well once they entered the real world. But they ultimately realized, hey, you just need to make it an option. If it's a real thing that's going to be able to help businesses, then you don't really need to force them to use it anyway. If it's going to result in a better service for customers, that just kind of works itself out over time. Anyway, And now here's part of their history, which isn't so ideal. There was a misstep here. On May 5th, 2015, FinCEN penalty. Ripple received a $700,000 civil money penalty from the U.S. Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, again, that's FinCEN, for willful violation of the Bank Secrecy Act by acting as a money services business without registering with FinCEN. So maybe that was a charge, and okay, super duper, but I don't know that there was any sort of intent to do something wrong. It's more like... Look, I understand that being ignorant of the law is not an excuse, but sometimes people are ignorant of the law and they move forward and then they find out and then like, okay, well, we have to make this right. And to me, having heard of this story in the past, that's always how it struck me anyway. They did another funding round May 18th of 2015. And then in October of 2015, Ripple changed their company name again from Ripple Labs to Ripple. Now, actually... It's technically they're still Ripple Labs. I do that's my understanding anyway. And then they're just going by Ripple, the shorter version. So I think they got a DBA, which is a legal designation meaning doing business as. So I apologize if I'm mistaken, but pretty sure that I read somewhere that they're actually still technically Ripple Labs. And then you got here in October 6, 2015, you're getting into some stuff that's going to start to sound familiar. This goes back, look at this, almost 5 years at this point. Interledger Protocol. Ripple introduces the Interledger Protocol, ILP, for efficient payments across payment networks. ILP becomes an open public protocol for payments with W3C, that's the World Wide Web Consortium, the body that develops the standards for the internet, taking the lead. And so that's why ILP, which exists thanks to Ripple, that's I mean, like Apple adopted it. Like it's on your Safari browser. It's the world over. It's on your phone right now, and it's amazing. Ripple has done that. And ultimately, the cool thing about that is, and there's, I'm not going to get way too far into detail to talk about it in this video, but I've talked about it in the past, just the concept that ILP should benefit, that's the plan, it should benefit the long-term adoption of XRP, and my opinion on utility, if there's real utility and long-term adoption based on usage, I think that price is going to catch up when people figure this all out, which is not financial advice. I don't have a financial background. I'm just sharing an opinion, just making a fun little YouTube video of bitching about Bill Gates and telling you about Ripple. It's the perfect blend. It goes together like spaghetti and meatball. Or perhaps you prefer analogy, lamb and tuna fish. Name the movie. What's that from? I'll tell you. It's Big Daddy. All right, good old Adam Sandler. And so there's another funding round, September 15th, 2016. I don't think I want to go... I thought some of the most interesting stuff was early on. That's why I'm going to kind of go through a lot of this. Like, plus, the stuff as you get closer to the top, like, this gets into territory where, like, it's recent enough that I've been reporting on it, like, during the existence of the life of the Moon Lambo channel, which is about a year and a half at this point. I've been running this channel here. So yeah, anyway, this is a fun one too, though. I do like this. Look at this. This is just fun because I'm on YouTube. Ripple sues YouTube, April 21st, 2020. Ripple takes legal action against YouTube to prompt an industry-wide behavior change and set the expectation of accountability. Ripple claims YouTube should be more aggressive and proactive in identifying scams before they're posted. Remove these scams once they're identified. And lastly, not to profit from these scams. But who doesn't want to profit from a scam? I want to profit from a scam. It's a good time. Like I said in a video the other day, especially Ponzi schemes. Support your local Ponzi scheme. It's all about the community, man. I'm telling you. But you can see all this, like, this is all stuff that I've been covering very recently, because now we're in 2020. You got the ISO news 20022, RippleNet Cloud, and the most recent one, June 18th, 2020, Pay ID. So this is something that I'm sure he'll keep updating over time, but clearly he put a lot of work into this. And it's most of the major highlights. I mean, maybe he could go through and come up with some stuff that it would be worth adding here. There are some things that he intentionally didn't add for specific reasons. I don't have an example off the top of my head. I'd have to go through the thread, which I don't think I really would. I don't know if that'd be entertaining for the sake of this video. But he's really thought this through. And I just think this website's awesome. So anytime this comes up, I always like to, if I remember, I like to point you in this direction. If you have not done yourself the service of checking out xrparcade.com, do yourself a favor and go here. There's so much freaking information. It's so well put together. It's so professional. And it's done by an XRP community member who is just as engaged in all of this as you and I. I mean, we're all here for a reason. We're weirdos, and we think that this is that interesting. So here we are. I'm more weird than you, though. I'm running a YouTube channel. So don't feel bad about yourself if you're checking XRP and Ripple news every day. I took it a step further. So there we go. But very cool stuff, right? I think so, anyway. But go ahead. But I'm just going to tell you before I do the wrap-up here, I would love to hear you guys also bitching about Microsoft and Bill Gates. If you could do that for me in the comments section, that would just make my little heart smile. But that is it for this one. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!